jamming it with Paint Your Body. Alright, we're doing a Nissan Altima White Pearl. I don't know the year of this car. It's an older model. Doesn't matter. It's QX3 White Pearl. So, we got a new bumper, rear bumper, front bumper, and we're taking care of the quarter panel, a repair on the fender. It's not a big job, but it's a little bit big. So right now what I'm doing is this bumper has been prepped with red Scotch-Brite, and I'm applying sealer right now. So I'm going to go ahead and seal this part and the front bumper, which is the same state. So we're going to prep that with a red Scotch-Brite, all the edges, the entire thing, and you know, look it over, make sure it's in good shape, and then we're going to put the sealer on. So right now this is the sealer, one coat. We want to try to put it on nice. I'm using the Techna primer gun with a 1.4 tip. I've been using this for sealer now for about 2 to 3 months, and I love this spray gun. It puts the sealer down nice and smooth, and you let that flash off for about 15 minutes or so and start putting the base on, and I have no complaints. It comes out beautiful. You know, when you're sealing, you want to make sure you get all your edges covered and everything. You know, it's important for coverage and for adhesion, and, you know, just to make sure you got a nice even job all the way around. You know, it's easy to miss, you know, certain areas here and there. You know, you just want to double check. Yeah, right there, getting the edge, getting the edges. Those are the first spots that are going to chip or peel or anything. So you want to make sure you scuff them well. You want to make sure you seal them well. Just take care of all your edges, that's all. So I wanted to make this video. You know, people get worried or nervous. Oh, white pearl. It's a white pearl. How do you do it? How do you do it? You know, oh man, white pearls are hard. Well, I mean, depending on, I guess, maybe on the paint line that you're using, or, you know, I guess there could be a lot of different variables or reasons that it could be hard or difficult. You know, I'm fortunate. I'm using an excellent paint line, RM Diamond, and almost always the color match is perfect. And especially on this car, the Nissan QX3 White Pearl, this color matches so well. I checked it on multiple panels on this car that are going to be adjacent to the panels that are being painted, and the color matched so well. So you know, I wanted to make a video to show you know, the application and how to blend this pearl out. You know, pearl, yeah, it could be tricky, but you know, if you have a good system and you have a good knowledge of what you're doing and how to do it, you're really not going to run into many problems. So that's the point of this video. Alright, so we're going to kind of fast forward ahead here. This video is kind of long because with a pearl like this, you have to put down 3 coats of white base coat. Alright, so we sealed it. That's 1 coat. Then we have to put down 3 coats of white base coat, and then we're going to follow that up with 3 coats of pearl. That's a lot of coats, but that's what it calls for, so that's what we're going to do. So there's going to be portions of this video that we're going to speed up, and we're going to skip ahead, and you know, that's not to try to gloss over or miss anything. You know, we're just trying to speed over because this video could be an hour long. I mean, I literally shaved off about a half hour from this video. So, you know, I want you guys to be able to see how this is done, but, you know, I don't want you to fall asleep while we're doing it. So I let this sealer dry for about 15 minutes or so. You know, the time range you can kind of be loose with. You want to look at it and it needs to be matte or flat looking, or when you look at it, no gloss. It needs to look dry. You know, so I could say 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes. The point is when you look at it, it needs to look dry, it needs to be dry, and then you can move on. You know, I mean, you can always refer to the recommendation of the, you know, the product, but as far as what I'm doing, that's the best scenario. Alright, so we're going to speed up ahead here. You saw how I applied the first coat of base to the rear bumper, and I'm going to do it the same way on the front bumper here, but, you know, we're going to speed it up because we already know what to expect, and, you know, we're going to jam through this because that's what we do. We're going to jam it, and, you know, we're going to finish this up and then move on because we already know what to do here. Let's get the coverage, let's cover the sealer, and get our first coat on nice. Alright, let's slow it down now. This is the fender. We have a really, really tight blend here. And the primer goes over, I mean, that's 75%, 80% of the way. And honestly, I would never do this with a white pearl or most colors ever. But I have such confidence that with this paint system, with this color, and because I checked this color in advance and I know it matches really, really well, that, you know, I'm okay with doing it in such a tight area because this color matches really well with this paint system. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And, you know, right now we're doing the quarter all the way to the bottom, and we're going to do into the rear body. And, you know, we're going to get our coverage, and this is the first coat of base. So we're going to come back over this 2 more times after this with the solid white. Alright, so what I did was the gas door was removed from the car, and so I'm going to get my coverage on that. Yep, and that little part right there, that is the cap for the front bumper. You know, a lot of times those get forgotten or just not painted, or let's leave it and put it in after. Now, you know, I like to paint those and get those done just to make sure. You know, I mean, it's such a small part and you forget to do it or whatever. You know, just do it and take care of it. That way it matches and there's no problem. So I'm fast forwarding through this part. You know, I still want to show that we're doing it This is the second full coat of white. We're going to do this, you know, it's the same as before. We're just going to speed it up. We already know what's going on. We want to get a full coverage, a full coat of base here. And, you know, we're going to move on because this is, you know, we got to do this over everything. We have to do this 3 times with the white. All right, so we're going to move out of the way, get over here to the front. All right, let's do this. Da, 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 da. Yep, there we go. Get the edges. Cha-cha. All right, we're jamming here. We're cruising. There we go. All right, come around the back here. Yep, get that. Ooh. All right, now we're going to move this out of the way. All right, we'll finish up this. Yep. All right, let's get that. All right, good. Good, good, good. All right, now get out of the way here. Okay. Now, let's get back into this. We're going to bring the white out a little bit more on this fender. And the blend is so tight on this fender. And by tight, I mean so short, so small. Look at the tape on the door. You don't see white paint all over the door. Or the yellow tape. And there's a reason, because we're cutting it off. You know, it's hard to explain unless you're doing it. But basically, when you're going, you're gonna flick that paint off with the spray gun at the end of that blend with the sealer. I'm gonna take it a little further, and I'm gonna flick it off a little bit more, and you know, we're gonna do that a little further each time. And the last time we went a little further than the first time. We wanted to cover the sealer the first time, and then we wanted to go a little bit further the second time. And we don't have a lot of room to work with here. But like I said, I'm confident with this because this paint system is excellent. And with this car and this paint code, I'm not worried. I checked it. Everything's good. The color's good. The pearl is good. Everything is good. So, you know, this is a good one to show. Alright, so I'm checking to see, is the base dry or are we still a little wet here? You know, I'm going to tack off all the adjacent areas. You know, I mean, are you supposed to tack off the entire panel? You can. Something that I do, you know, you look over the panel that you painted. If it looks clean and there's nothing on it, you know, I don't tack over it. Are you supposed to? By the book, yes. But, you know, the most important area, in my opinion, and what I do, you have to do the blend area, whether it's a solid, a metallic, a pearl, whatever the case, you have to do that. You're going to have a pile of glitter. Sparklies all over the place, whatever, however you want to say it, you have to clean the edges up of the blend area, whatever the case. You cannot leave that, because when you go to clear coat that, everybody is going to see it. So, you know, maybe it's a little trick, maybe it's not, maybe it's a shortcut, I don't know. But I have excellent success with the way I do my jobs, and this is how I do them. and how I have been doing them, and it works well. So this is the way I do it. All right, so this is the first coat of pearl. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is the first coat of pearl. And the thing with the pearl coat is you really don't do much different. You still want to put it on medium wet. What is medium wet? Well, you want to put it on not so that it's shiny and, it looks like you're spraying clear coat, but medium wet means, you want to put it on so that, it looks really even, a little wet, but you're going to put 3 coats of this on. So you don't have to try to hurry and cover it all in one coat. It's not a race to the finish. The most important thing when you're doing a job like this, you want this to be even. This needs to look nice and even and smooth. You can't blend a pearl and have it show. I mean, you can't do a blend ever and have it show. So what I'm trying to show here is you're going to put it on pretty much the same way as, let's say in this case, the solid white. I go a little bit drier. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Alright, so we're going to come around to the quarter here. I'm going to start at the bottom of the door in the quarter, and I'm going to sweep it out, and it looks like, wow, you're sweeping it out a little far. You're blending it out a little far. Well, my reason for that is, and the reason I do this, if you blended the white base out further than the pearl, and for some reason the pearl doesn't cover that, you're going to see white dots, white mist, white base coat without pearl on it. So it is so important to cover that white base coat. So because we're blending that into an existing panel of pearl. And, I don't want to make it sound difficult. I mean, it's tricky. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to have a hard time. But if you pay attention, each coat goes a little further. It doesn't have to go a lot further, but a little further. And just pay attention. Look at it. All right, so we're going to tack it off again here. Yeah, we're going to get all that pearl overspray, the pearl, anything. Oh, right there, I just pointed. Normally, the door side moldings would be taken off. With this particular job, they weren't. And I'm sure there's a reason for that. I get the car the way it is, and I work on it, and I go to it. This job, the door side molding was left on, and what I was pointing at is there were black chips or marks, door side marks, whatever you want to call it. There were marks in the plastic from somebody opening their door, whatever the case. So I was just pointing those out, and I'm going to later on show what I do with things like that before I clear coat this job. Alright, so right here, that spot that I was showing, I'm going to touch that up. This is a white pearl. We already know this. We've been talking about it. But, you know, I'm just going to put the original white base over those black marks in the molding. I mean, you could do the white base and then let it dry or flash and then go ahead with the white pearl. Honestly, it's a touch-up. It's a freebie. I'm helping the person out, the customer. You know, I didn't have to. I could have cleared over it. I could have done whatever. So in this case, you know, I touched it up with the white, and the black marks in the plastic are gone, and it's going to match in pretty close with the white base. So, you know, that's the route I'm going to go. And, you know, I feel pretty good about it because it looks pretty good once it's all done. You can't even notice. Alright, so this is the first coat of clear. Again, I'm using the 2-to-1 high solids clear. I'm going to put the first coat on a little quick for adhesion. Well, maybe that's not a good way to put that. I'm going to put the first coat on quick just to get it on there, because for the second coat, I'm going to want that nice and tacked up, because I'm going to put the second coat on wet. So this first coat, I can't say it's for adhesion. I'm going to put the first coat on to get coverage, and then the second coat of clear, I'm really going to put it on heavy, because I want it to flow out and I want it to lay out. And I want the second coat to stick really well. So that's a better way for me to explain that. Yeah, we're going to speed up through this. I mean, we're going to fall asleep if we watch the entire thing. I mean, the video is already 30 minutes long. Even I don't want to watch this thing 30 minutes long. Come on, dude, you know? But this is how we do it, and, you know, it's important. You know, if you have questions or you're wondering, this is where you want to watch. Or if you're just trying to polish up, or you have questions, you know, well, how do you do it? How do you do it? You know, whatever. Either way, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with wondering or asking more questions or wanting to know more. I mean, that makes you better at what you do. That makes you better. That makes you try harder. And you know what? Keep it up. That's what you should do. All right, so we're polishing up the first coat of clear on the fender. Now we're going up the A-pillar, you know, all down the sail panel here to the quarter. Alright, so I didn't spray the entire taillight pocket or the lower quarter panel with 2 coats. I mean, to me, it's considered a jam, or the inner part, which isn't going to see sunlight, very much water. You know, so I don't put 2 full coats on those. If you do, nothing wrong with that. If you don't, nothing wrong with that. You know, this is how I do it. So here I am finishing up this. You might have noticed I don't go the entire way of the door. I don't take that coat of clear, the first coat of clear, to the end of the door or the panel. And the reason for that is because there's a term, the swimming pool effect, the darkening effect. Again, there's so many ways we can explain this, but the reason being that I do not go to the end of the panel with a full wet coat of clear or a medium coat of clear is because the second coat around, I will coat the entire panel with a full coat. And if you put too much clear on that, you can darken it up. Which, by that I mean, if I put two full, let's say, wet coats of clear on that fender, or two medium coats, whatever, that fender could be darker than the front door. Or vice versa, if I do two coats on the rear door all the way to the edge, that door could be darker than the front door just because of the clear coat. Not to get too technical or crazy with it, but it is possible. So what I do is, I do about 90% of the way with clear coat on that panel. And then the second coat, I come back and I just cover the whole thing a nice wet coat, and I get my full coverage. And, I think that's helped me out a lot. I've had a lot of success over the years, and I still do it, and I'm going to continue to do it. So, all right, here we go. So we're going to go ahead again, and we're going to hammer this now. We're going to put this clear on wet. Yeah. All the way to the end. And again, you look at that tape, you don't see white paint and you don't see pearl. I was able to keep that blend so tight. And the only reason is because this paint line is so excellent, RM Diamond. I was able to keep this color so tight. This color match is beautiful. No trouble at all. No trouble at all. I've slowed down on this last coat. Reason being the first coat was a little bit quicker and a little bit drier. This last coat, I'll slow it down and I'm going to put it on wet. And, I'm not nervous and I'm not going to be shy. I'm going to put it on wet. And because I know I put my first coat on the way I want, I'm going to have no problems getting this last coat to flow out the way I want. So that quarter, that fender, the quarter, the sail panel, everything. And now we're going to go right in all the way across. So now that entire panel is covered with clear. So there's no worries now. Well, you didn't cover the front edge. You didn't this, you didn't that. No, I know. But now I'm taking care of that. And this is what's being addressed. And this entire panel is sealed with a good coat of clear after all is said and done. All the way to the bottom. Nice and smooth. There you go. Okay. Oh, good. This is so important. All right. This is a fresh finish. And with the inner part of this bumper, this grill in the bumper stays black. While the paint and the clear and everything is fresh, you want to untape that quickly So right now I am quickly untaping the center part of this bumper. There we go. Around the corner. There we go. And you got to be careful. You do not want to get that tape stuck in there. You want to take that tape off quick. Or if you let that dry, you will definitely have a problem. And whether you're peeling paint off the bumper or you have a chunky tape line, take that tape off quick. That will help you. You have no idea that will help you. And all right, so this is the finisher, and we're gonna go over this now. And we've untaped all the edges. I mean, the clear looks beautiful. The pearl. I have no complaints on this job. I have one more pearl job that I'm gonna do.